A leaked Whitehall analysis lists directives including restrictions on city firms, renewable energy targets on homeowners and forcing households to have 4 different bins in a bid to meet recycling targets. The shock claims come a day after the EU's chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier issued a blunt message to Theresa May telling her that the time has come to make a choice. The revelation is likely to trigger a row among Mrs. May's cabinet as Brexiteers warned the PM she must not accept European Union laws after the nation-triggered Article 50. Outspoken Tory MP Jacob ReesMogg said European Union laws that could come in after we have left may look to the government as a cloud no bigger than a man's hand but could turn into a torrent similar to the one unleashed by Elijah. Getty. The UK could be forced to accept new EU laws. PA Jacob ReesMogg blasted the EU to the chance for a vengeful EU to cause regulatory damage to US may be too great for them to resist, and the government needs to be strong in refusing to accept new laws once we have left. Jacob ReesMogg. It could drown the City of London, soak consumers and flood farmers. The range and extent of these laws covers almost everyone in the country one way or another, and we would have no say at all over some laws that we could now veto. The chance for a vengeful EU to cause regulatory damage to us may be too great for them to resist, and the government needs to be strong in refusing to accept new laws once we have left. The Whitehall analysis rates each policy by how likely it is to materialize and the potential risk it poses to Brussels. One of the laws in the leaked document, seen by The Telegraph, could see the EU take power to raid the City of London and force clearing houses for Euros to relocate to the continent. It is considered highly likely to be forced through during the transition period and considered to pose a high risk. Monday, February 5, 2018. Michel Barnier and David Davis head to Downing Street for lunch meeting. Meanwhile, another highly likely law could force Britain to increase its recycling rate from 44% to 70%, which would require households to have a separate food waste, garden waste, recycling and household waste bin. Another could see people forced to take out insurance for mobility scooters, tractors, quad bikes and plans to limit phosphates in fertilizers. On Tuesday, Mr. Barnier warned the UK it has to play by the same rules as the EU during the transition period, as he issued a major warning about unavoidable trade barriers if the UK quits the customs union. But David Davis claimed the government has made its Brexit aims perfectly clear amid fresh warnings of a leadership challenge if the Prime Minister fails to deliver a clean Brexit. He said, "We have already published a great deal about our proposals, in terms of what the customs arrangements will be, what the other arrangements will be with respect to being outside the Union. We have said in terms we want a comprehensive free trade agreement and we want a customs agreement, and to make that as frictionless as possible, to make as much trade as currently exists as free as possible, while still giving ourselves the opportunity to make free trade deals with the rest of the world. It is perfectly clear what we want to do." The clarification comes amid warnings from senior Tory Eurosceptics that any deal with Brussels which keeps Britain in a customs union with the EU would be unacceptable. Reports suggest MPs want to replace the PM with a Brexiteer dream team with Boris Johnson as Prime Minister, Michael Gove his deputy, and Jacob ReesMogg the backbencher's shop steward if there was any backsliding by ministers. Some Eurosceptics remain deeply suspicious, fearing ministers like Chancellor Philip Hammond, who suggested Britain's relationship with the EU would only change very modestly, want to keep Britain in the EU in all but name.